At this stage of the project, we've taken the time to break out the OMF clips into all of our template tracks. As you see here, we've narrowed our session down to only the necessary clips, and they're all neatly organized in the timeline, checkerboarding back and forth on the dialogue tracks between scenes. In this movie, we'll explore some techniques that will help finesse these newly organized clips into coherent dialogue and sync tracks that play seamlessly throughout a scene. The first thing we should do here is hide all of these muted clips we didn't use from the original OMF import. All that's left here are the muted clips on these tracks, and they'll be placeholders in case we ever need to get back to them. So let's select all of these tracks by holding down Shift. Then we'll right-click on any one of them and say Hide and Make Inactive. Good, we'll be able to get back to these if we need to, but they're gone from our view. This second scene of the movie is a standard dialogue track layout. On the top track, Dialogue 6, I've edited only the boom microphone source. It's by far the most natural sound, but it does have a bit of room echo in it. The two tracks below it contain the two lavalier tracks for the scene. The top one, on Dialogue 7, is the assistant character's lavalier, and the Dialogue 8 contains the young architect character's lavalier mic. We'll use these lavalier mics to fill in against the boom when the actors speak. So let's clean up the boom tracks edit and make sure it's seamless and without any skips or bumps. So let's solo it and make sure it's nice and wide by clicking on the thin track ruler and changing it to large. The Trimmer Edit tool will be very useful here, which if you're using Pro Tools Smart Tool, identified by when all three tools are lit up in blue, it'll become active as we move the cursor to the edge of regions. Alternatively, if you dislike working with the Smart Tool, you can type F6 and that'll give you the Trimmer tool. F7 gives you the next tool, the Selector tool, and F8 gives you the next tool, the Grabber tool. We'll demonstrate the trimmer here on this clip where the assistant says, well, 6 p.m. The line is off camera, and we'll decide to keep just the laugh and we'll remove the well. Let's take a listen to it.
Well, 6 p.m.
So again, we want to take out the well and just keep the laugh. We can use the trimmer tool to remove this, and we'll drag in the preceding shot, like this. Now let's listen.
See? 6 p.m.
Okay, now that worked, but there's a little talking from the preceding clip that you might hear. Your first instinct might be to just cut it out, right, and hit delete. But remember, our goal here is to make it seamless, no dropouts. So we have to fill it in with some room tone. We can select some room tone from an empty area, such as right before the clip, with the Selector tool. You just want to make sure there's no other sounds going on, it's just the room itself. Then we'll type Command-C to copy it to the clipboard. Next, we can make a selection only where we want to paste it. This time, type Option-Command-V. This is called Paste Special, and it only fills in the space you selected with the clipboard contents. It's a very useful paste command to know when you're making this kind of edit. Great, now let's listen.
6 p.m.
Next, we want to make sure that every edit has at least a tiny crossfade between them. Again, to avoid any bumps in the road. We don't want any clicks or pops going on between our clips. Fades can also be made with the Smart tool by going to the bottom of the overlapping clip and pulling it out a little. Or you can make a selection over the intersecting point and type the key F to make a quick crossfade. So now we'll continue to work through the boom mic clips on this scene, checking each edit and making crossfades over each one. We'll also be copying and pasting room tone where necessary to make it as clean as possible. To check what this looks like, take a look at the end version of this session file to show the end result of our work.